Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Monday. So today is the last day of the month. Tomorrow is May 1st. We are going to start getting some not operational updates. Well, we'll get those too, but we're also going to get Riot reporting tomorrow their Q1 results, I believe. So we'll get to see what's going on there. So we'll cover that. But today we're just going to take a look at Iren. They provided an operational update for us, getting to 9 exahash. We'll take a look at what that is. Then we'll take a look at Hashprice for Bitcoin, right, for the miners. What's that at right now? We'll also take a look at the difficulty currently, where it's at, and then kind of what kind of impact does it have on the miners and potentially the network hash rate going forward as well. Okay, so we'll take a look at all that. We'll see also if any miners have any of the older equipment that might be coming offline because of the hash price coming down. But that's it, okay? And as always, you guys know the drill here. This is not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research and invest in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. Corrections will be posted to Discord, YouTube, and Twitter, and I'm not paid by any of the public Bitcoin mining companies. Full disclosure there. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin really quick on the day. So we can see here that Bitcoin actually came down today to approximately a low of 61,741, and then it went up to close at 63,838, right? So it was just, I don't know whether it was just a shakeout, trying to get some weak hands out of the miners and Bitcoin in general. Because you can see here on the miner side of things, they were all down. Nobody was really down double digit in percentage, but they were all in the 6, 8s, 7s, 5s down on the day. So it wasn't a great day. Obviously, good buying opportunity if you're still dollar cost averaging into them. I was looking to pick up a little bit today. Didn't get a chance to, but it looks like Cypher was actually down 10%, but everybody else was kind of below that here. But I'm looking to pick up some more this week if this kind of stays down. If we have some more buying opportunities as well. But Bitcoin right now is obviously up a little bit here. It's at right now 64,000 as it is. So it's starting to kind of pick back up a little bit here. It did obviously close above our support here at 63,707 or 700. It did obviously close below that the last 2 days, but we finally got back above it. So we're kind of still battling with this support / resistance line at 63,700. And then we'll see if we can possibly, make a bull run on 67,500 potentially. Okay, we'll see what that happens there. Now, as far as the network hash rate is concerned, you can see here on the daily chart that we did obviously come down here a little bit here to 573 exahash on the network. But that's still in line where we've been in before, so it's not really, we're not seeing that huge decrease or a substantial decrease at least, especially if you look at like the 30-day or even the 7-day here a little bit. I mean, you can see it's kind of still within our range here. We're still at 640 exahash on the 7-day. And then I like to look at the 30-day because that actually gives us a pretty good range here. And that's at 625 right now. So we're still pretty elevated from where we were, obviously, before the halving event even. So the thought process is here, as Bitcoin price maybe kind of stays flat a little bit, the transaction fees obviously subside a little bit as well, that things may obviously have an impact on the network hash rate, which might decrease obviously because miners are going to be plugging stuff off. As you can see here as well, this is the Bitcoin fees per day. We obviously had a huge spike here after the halving event where we had the runes and everything else clogging up the network and everybody was trying to get their runes through. And obviously Bitcoin transaction fees at that point went way, way, way sky high. They have obviously since then come back down to reality a little bit. And now they're averaging about fees per day, about 2.8 million here, looks like right now, right? Heading into the halving, we were at about 6.8 million fees per day. And then just prior to that, we were at like 1.2. So we're still a little bit higher than we were in the beginning of the month, but definitely nowhere near the, 55 million here in fees at the spike here, okay? So there's that. Going down to here, you can see here also, this is the Bitcoin hash price index right now. And we were, before the halving event, we were at about $100 per petahash per day USD. Now, after the halving, I mean, at the peak, we peaked quite a bit here. We peaked at 182, then we've fallen back down, kind of went back up, and now we're back down to about 49.50 or so on the hash price index right now, right? So that's about what we would expect, especially after the halving event, right? So that combined with other things will more than likely have the network hash rate possibly come down a little bit, but it all depends on where Bitcoin price is at. Bitcoin price stays up, that's not really going to change anything. And then here, the last block mined here, we got 0.21 BTC in fees, right? So obviously we're seeing a big decrease from what we were seeing, where we had a couple BTC in fees up to as high as 20, 30 BTCs in the beginning of the halving event. But that's kind of the way our things are going. So We'll take a look at that, what impact that has in a little bit here. But right now we're just going to get into really quick here the operating hash rate increase for Iren. So they reported this. This is actually pretty good news here. It's pretty quick. We're not going to dive too deep into it because it's actually pretty good, but there's not much to it. So Iren is pleased to announce that its expansion is ahead of schedule and operating hash rate has increased to 9 exahash. The company now also expects to achieve 10 exahash in May 2024. Iren's fully funded expansion to 20 exahash in 2024 remains on track, which will improve nameplate fleet efficiency to 21.9 joules, which is nice. Furthermore, the company now expects to commission an additional 50 megawatts of data center capacity as part of Childress Phase 3 this year. This increased planned data center capacity from 460 megawatts to 510 megawatts by the end of 2024. The additional 50 megawatts of capacity has been enabled partly through a new substation design, as well as ongoing improvements and optimization of the company's construction and procurement process. So that's all good things here, right? So it's going to be nice to see them get to 10 exahash in May. And then they have obviously 10 more exahash to get to by the end of the year. And based on this track record, I think that they won't have a problem getting there. It's nice that they are also fully funded to that as it is. Okay, so great news from Iren here. But yeah, that's about it. And you can see their site here, the buildings, pretty standard buildings. I mean, you got basically, I'm guessing, miners sucking air in, and then you got fans blowing hot air out. Okay, that's kind of the way it works. You got the cool aisles here, hot aisles in the middle, and cool aisles on the sides here. All right, so that's it for Iren. Let's take a look at the impact, obviously, that Bitcoin price coming down, difficulty being where it's at. We're kind of expecting maybe difficulty to come down a little bit here, along with the network hash rate potentially. But we're still at like 615 exahash per on the network. We're at 625 roughly, right? So on this table here, we have Bitcoin price on the left-hand side. We got the ASIC speed here on the right-hand or on the top side. So we're going from basically 80 terahash all the way up to 240 terahash on these. And we can see here based on electricity price, if it was at 0.04 cents, right? That's kind of the average more or less. Some miners are lower, obviously some are higher, but the average is more or less somewhere around there. Bitcoin price is at 63,000 and I'm using 3,400 watts for an average miner basically, right? So it's not going to be all encompassing. It's kind of just a rough idea as far as where things could be going forward. And we are using the block reward of 450 right now after the halving event. So based on this, we can see here that basically anybody that's running like the 80 terahash miners, if they have high electricity costs or even average electricity costs, they're probably unplugging. I mean, somebody that's got like 4 cents or 3.5 cents, okay, they still might be profitable at that point, right? But somebody that's operating at 4.5, I mean, if they're at 5 cents, you're really not doing that well. Somebody that's hosting or something like that. So you have to think about all the companies that are hosting and they're paying 5.5, maybe 6 cents. I mean, you have pretty much the 80, 90, and 100 terahash miners that are not profitable at this point, right? The only thing that's going to save you here is if the network hash rate goes actually down quite a bit. And we would need to have that happen to go down to maybe like 500. So that'd be what, a 20% drop roughly from where we are right now, right? At that point, that kind of saves you if that happens. So some of the older generation miners like the 80s, the 70 terahash miners, things like that, that's obviously what would be getting unplugged potentially here. And it all depends on just where the network hash rate is and what the cost that they have, right? Obviously, the higher the cost that they have, the more likely that they are to unplug at that point because it just does not make sense. So, you know, if somebody's mining at home with their home miners right now, they're paying probably closer to like 9-10 cents depending on where they are at. And at this point, at 63,000, I mean, you got basically, the hobbyists are probably in trouble right now a little bit. You can see here that even the 140 terahash miners are not profitable at this point. The only ones that would be profitable at this point would be like the 190 terahash miners, the 180 still, and then maybe the 170 if there's any of those out and about. But yeah, pretty much everything else under the sun there is not profitable here. And that's just basically the cost of electricity. So if you're paying 10 cents or 11 cents at home, you're not doing too good here right now at 63,000, right? Bitcoin obviously goes up much higher. At that point, we would need probably Bitcoin to be at, oh gosh, I don't know, probably around 70, 80,000 or so for a lot of these guys to be profitable at that point. But that's not going to happen for at least for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, right? And like I said, I think the only thing that's going to really save him on this is if network hash rate goes down. And if network hash rate goes down to, 550 or even, let's go down 525 here. Even at that point, you're still, let's see. Yeah, I mean, most of the machines here are not profitable at 11 cents. So the lower the cost of electricity, the better it is for you, obviously. And that goes for everybody. That's why the industrial miners get better rates, 4.5, 5 cents, something like that. Even some have 2 cents, 2.5 cents, depending on the contracts they have written for them. But even those guys, with the network hash rate where it's at right now, some of the machines are not profitable here. So I thought we would just kind of take a look at how this all plays into it, right? How electricity plays into a network hash rate, BTC price, all of these three things, these three strings really determine the profitability of a miner. And obviously the best thing you can do is hope that you have the lower cost, best efficient miners as possible, right? At that point, you're doing a lot better than some of these guys that are not here. So I thought we would just take a quick look at some of the miners here, the large and the small miners, to see which ones might be unplugging, right? As far as which ones have older machines like the 80 or the 90 terahash miner, something like that might be getting close to being unplugging depending on their electricity cost. And for the large miners here, we got Bitdeer. I'm looking at their machines that they reported on average. These are some of the average numbers that I have for them when they went public. I don't have all the information as far as the older machines also. So based on the average here, they're at 93 terahash for some of the older machines that they have here. Those are probably going to be getting close depending on where network hash rate goes, right? Those might be coming offline here in the next couple of weeks if Bitcoin price stays where it's at. And depending on the price of power that they have. If they have cheap power, they could probably sustain it for another couple of weeks, couple of months until Bitcoin starts to rebound potentially. Then you got BitDigital here. BitDigital has pretty good fleet here, about 100 terahash. Some 88 terahash miners, those might be coming offline. They don't have too many of those, so that shouldn't be a big deal. I wouldn't be surprised if those are already off anyways. You got Bitfarms here. Bitfarms has 100 terahash miners and plus and improving going forward. So that shouldn't be an issue for them. They don't have anything really that would be concerning here. Cypher does have some 88 terahash miners here, but also they have really good power costs, like 2.5, 3 cents, 3.5 cents, whatever it might be combined, right? So there's no really worries on them for them. CleanSpark, they have also newer generation fleet, 100 terahash plus, right? Some of the 88, I think those are already gone here. I already took those out, right? Because it just didn't make any sense for them to run when they have newer machines coming in anyways. Yeah, of course, Scientific here, they got some 98. Those are still probably fine. 100 terahash are probably good still, obviously. And then some 200 terahash as well. You got Hive here. Hive also had some older machines, but they started getting rid of those a while back here, which is nice to see. So overall, they have about a bunch of 100 terahash miners, 98 terahash, 110 terahash. Now they're getting the 140, 136, 200 terahash miners as well. So they're looking pretty good here. They've been obviously doing the right things, planning for the halving event. Hut 8. Hut 8 is a tricky beast here. Based on the combined information that I have for USBTC and Hut 8, they're operating at like 97 on average terahash. And that is based on the miners that they had here through Hut 8, which Hut 8 had a bunch of 93 terahash miners, some 91, some 84 even. Terahash miners, and they had some 87, 77. So I'm guessing some of these are probably turned off based on what Asher has stated already, that they obviously unplugged some of the less efficient machines. But they didn't replace them with anything new here. So, I mean, some of the rest of the stuff here is probably going to be getting unplugged here shortly, unless, again, they have really good costs of electricity, which I think they're like right around 4.5, 5 cents, something like that, blended cost overall. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how much hash rate they actually will unplug potentially. If the network hash rate stays elevated, Bitcoin price stays low, and the transaction fee stay low as well. Right, that will be interesting to see. Iren here has got newer machines, also 100 terahash, up to 200 terahash miners, so they're fine. Marathon, same thing, 100 to 195, potentially, might be even higher than that. We just don't know on these machines here. Then we got Riot here. Riot had some 90 terahash miners here that were mostly used in immersion cooling. They also had some down here that were just regular air cooling. I'm guessing some of these here, they should be okay. I mean, they had a blended cost of like 2.5 cents, something like that, 2.3, 2.5 cents. If you include power credits and all that stuff in there. So they should be fine on those. Those can still run for quite a ways. And then we got TeraWolf here really quick. TeraWolf has 100 terahash miners, 140, 151, 120. So, I mean, they're looking good here as well. They shouldn't have any problems. Plus, they also have really good cost of electricity for those, especially for the JV. I think JV is like 2.5 cents or something like that. And then you got the other one blended in. I think they're like 3.5, 4 cents, something like that, all blended in. So they're definitely going to be fine there. Looking at some of the smaller miners here, that's where we kind of get into maybe a little bit hiccups here for some of these miners here. You got Argo with some of these 95, so they should be fine there. These 65, I'm guessing those are probably unplugged already if they haven't been already. 95 terahash, 100 terahash miners as well. You got DigiHost here. They got some 90s, not much, just a couple. 180, 90 of those, 180 of those. And the rest is all 100 terahash, right? But those obviously need to get probably upgraded, updated, I'm guessing, because if things continue the way they are, even the 100 terahash miners are going to be having a hard time being profitable here. Looking at DMG really quick. DMG has 100 terahash miners also. Then all the way up to 190 terahash. And you got Moss in here. Mawson's got some 90, they got a lot of 90 terahash miners and also 85 terahash miners as well. So they might be more so in trouble than probably the other miners here that I can see, especially since they haven't been updating their machines here. Then we got Sphere 3D, which has 100 terahash miners throughout, right? They should be doing okay, depending on the price of hosting and electricity and all that, whatever their all-in cost is. I mean, if they're at like 5.5 cents, 7 cents for that, they might be in a little bit of trouble here. If we look at it here, if they're at 5, let's just put them at 5.5 cents. I mean, 100 terahash miners, I mean, they're just barely profitable right now, potentially. All right, something to think about there. Going back here, then we got Stronghold here. Stronghold, 100 terahash, 119, 130, 118, 120, 123. So they're still pretty good on this side of things as far as having a newer fleet. So that's all good there. But yeah, it'll be just interesting to see how this all plays out. Obviously, we're all expecting the network hash rate to go much lower. We're expecting 10-20% decrease in network hash rate after the halving event, based on what we were seeing earlier in the year, Bitcoin being at 40-some thousand, network hash rate being where it was at. It just kind of made sense that the network hash rate would decrease as it has in the past cycles because the economics weren't there. But with Bitcoin going up to 70,000, now it's 63,000, the economics have totally changed on the miners, and it makes it profitable to still mine, right? Some of these older machines. But once that changes here, and we're kind of seeing that change happening here a little bit slowly, like the hash rate price coming down $50 a day. We're seeing also the network hash rate still kind of staying up there, but the transaction fees coming down as well. Those are all things that are going to be kind of impacting the miners' decisions, whether or not they're going to unplug or plug in, stay plugged in. All right. Big thing is obviously cost of electricity for them right now. Okay, but that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It's kind of obviously the end of April here. We're getting into the revenue season reporting for the miners here. We got, right, like I said, tomorrow, which is going to be nice, and we'll have to see who else reports. But we should start seeing production updates as well. Not tomorrow. Gosh, I'm thinking tomorrow is May 1st. It's not. It's Wednesday. Wednesday's May 1st, right? Let me see here. Yeah, today's only April 29th here, right? Wow, for some reason I was thinking tomorrow was going to be May. Where's my calendar app? Calendar app. There it is. Yep, so we got one more day. So it'll be Wednesday that Riot reports, okay? But we're getting close, obviously, to the end of the month. And we'll get the operational updates as well in May, starting with probably Bitfarms. They always report first, along with maybe Cypher, I think. CleanSpark may be in there as well. So it'll be fun. We'll get a lot more updates here going forward from the miners, see how they have been performing here in April. Okay, but as always, that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, hit me up in the comments down below. We'll do a live stream on Wednesday. Tomorrow we'll cover whatever happens tomorrow. We'll see what's going on there. But as always, the spreadsheets are available to my Patreon members, right? So that's available to you guys. The link is down in the description for that. That's my only sales pitch. And you get access to Discord server as well on top of that. Okay, I think that is it. I think we covered everything. So thanks so much for coming in to watch this. I hope you guys have a great night, and I'll see you guys in the next one.